Good day everybody. Today we are fishing down at Seaford. The sun has come out, but don't let that fool you. It is freezing cold. Without that shelter, standing in the wind, I don't think I'd last very long. It's absolutely bitter. But anyway, what are we going to do today? Well, it's still early, but we're going to see if we can pluck out another Plaice. If you've seen my last video from Seaford, which I think was 2 videos ago, you'll see that I managed to pull one out. My friend Becky had a couple, and there was at least one other one caught on the beach. Today we're down there seeing if we can repeat that, but I've only got frozen bait today. We'll have a look at that shortly. I'm going to get set up. So I brought my century rods down again. I probably would have brought my competition performance, to be honest, but this is what I had ready in my rod bag, so in the car they went. So we're going to get the reel on. I've got one of my blue mags today. I have hopefully tamed my super tunes. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I've had them being a bit lively because I had them set up for casting over the field. But I've put the original bearings back in, put some slightly thicker oil back in, but they didn't quite make it back into my box. And these were the reels I had that were easily to hand. So I've got one of my blue 7HTs and I've got one of my Pen Fathom 15s. Of course, one of my super tunes needs to be re-spooled again because I had a bit of a crack off on my last session. Oops. But like I say, hopefully I've tamed the beasts now. So yeah, Plaice is the order of the day. We'll go through the rigs, have a look at the bait, and I've also got a new hand warmer to try out because my fingers are suffering these days in the cold. But yeah, I'll carry on getting set up and we'll take a look at all the tactics in a minute. Okay, so rigs for the day. I tend to keep all my rigs in one of these lovely little Tronics Pro little bags. I can't remember what they're called actually, mini back and bag, something like that. We're going to use a loop rig today, or a bar rig, sorry. I've got a few made up. These have 4-foot snoods and they've each got a green pop-up on. So we're going to try one of these for distance and see if I can get it out, one out of the bag. Ooh, the hooks are all tangled up. Other 3 safely tucked in the bag. So these have got 4-foot snoods, plus the length of the bar. So that's about a 4'6" snood in total maybe. So 6 inches from the cascade swivel down to the hook. They've got 0.35 fluorocarbon line. And I'm using size 2 super match hooks on these. And the pop-up is 15mm by about 7.5mm. So I'll just get this undone. Make sure that bit of cut tie doesn't blow away. So there we go, nice long snood. And down at the business end, there's our size 2 super match hook, little sequin, there's the pop-up bead, and above that we got the cascade swivel. At the other end we got splashdown on the bottom of the bar rig there. So when we get this baited up, we'll have a look at how that all clips up. I've also got some loop rigs with me that I'm going to use, but first thing to do, get this baited up, get one rod out into the sea. So what bait have I got? Well, it's all in my nice small bait pack from Tronics Pro. Just right for a short session, which is all I've got time for today. We have some frozen sand eels, just in case I fancy having a switch of tactics to try for a dab. I've got a few frozen razors in there. Most of them are quite small. Sort of, well, that's 2 there. You can see they're pretty small razors, although I have got one monster that I found washed up on the beach. And I've got about 25, I think, frozen lug here. So this is a pack I already started. Oh, in fact, maybe it's full. Is it full? Yeah, 30. I've got 30 frozen lug. They're all looking in pretty good condition. So I'm going to leave that wrap out so it starts to defrost. And I'm going to pop that into my other Tronics Pro small bait tray. This is. I use this on a lot of my trips, keep my bait tidy. So pop those lug in there. I won't put any sand eels in there because I'm going to keep those frozen. And I'll pop in half a dozen of these razors. I've probably got about 10 altogether, so not many of them. and that'll defrost, ready for using it. And we get the rest of the bait put back in here and kept out the sun, so we try and keep it nice and cold. I'll make sure those sand eels are against the ice pack I've got in there, and I'll pop that behind my box so it's in the shade. Right, so we're going to try one of these lug first. Oh, in fact, I've already got it out of the paper, haven't I? So here's my frozen lug, top and tail. Get my bait needle. That's the right one. So slide that on tail first. It's still a little bit frozen, so I'll try and defrost it a little bit with my hand. There we are, nearly on. There we go. The lugworm is all on the needle, and get my size 2 hook. Pop that in the end of the bait needle. Hold that nice and tight, especially as it's frozen, it's going to be a bit more tricky to get round. Gently slide that round. Move the bait stop up a little bit, so there's space for the worm. And there we go. Now, because that's frozen, it looks all right at the minute, but as that defrosts in the sea, that's going to become a bit of a gloopy mess. So I'm just adding a bit of bait elastic either side of the eye of the hook and down the hook a little bit to try and hold that nicely in place. So there we go. One beautiful frozen lug. So we're going to get this clipped up and then get it sent out. So pop the hook in the splashdown. There we go. So that's got the hook secured in there. Hopefully you can see that. And then to clip it up on the bar, get it the right way up. Take my cascade swivel and pop that into the swivel at the top of the bar rig. So there we have that, a nice streamlined rig ready to send out. So there we go, that is all clipped up, ready to send out. And I remembered to put my thummy on. So let's get this out and see if we can pick up a Plaice. Check my mags. Tighten them up a tiny bit for first chuck. There we are, my drop length's all right. Average sort of cast. I wasn't going for ultimate distance there. Probably about 60 yards out, but the baits are out. Time to get the second rod set up. Woohoo! Fishing on a lovely sunny winter's day. Freezing, but lovely and sunny. So here we go, second rod is set up. On here I have my 2-hook loop rig, 18-inch snoods, and I think they were size 4 hooks, 5-ounce grip at the bottom, and we got that all clipped up in the splashdown for the bottom hook and the top hook on that cascade swivel. And I've just set the tension in my spring so that there's virtually no tension in that at all. So again, this is on my Century Tip Tornado Graphics Supermatch, a mouthful, isn't it? Paired with my pen Fathom 15. So let's get this one chucked out for those Plaice. Here we go, juicy baits, ready to go. Check my drop length. There we go. Mags. There we go. Either to check the mags on the pen Fathoms, because they don't have numbers on the side. Right. Try and get a little bit more distance on this one. Now we play the waiting game. Well, I mentioned I had a hand warmer with me. Now, back when I used to fish in the 80s, I had some hand warmers that were little tins with a sort of fleecy lining in, and you burned fuel sticks. I've actually got a whole packet of them here. I bought these a few years ago, but haven't used it. But I thought today, given how cold my fingers have been the last few trips, I thought I'd give it a go. I've got some disposable hand warmers at home as well, you know, like what are they called? Heat something? Can't remember what they're called. But I thought I'd try this. And what we have to do is light this fuel stick. And I've got my Zippo lighter. And I remember from the 80s, these taking quite a while to catch. So you just got to sit and hold it in the flame for a little while. It's a very slow burning. And you just got to get it nice and hot until it starts to glow a little bit. I remember before, sometimes I'd have to try and light them a couple of times. Oh, the sea's getting a little bit close. I might have to move before I get this lit. Thought I'd set up far enough back because I arrived at nearly high tide. But maybe not. It's just starting to turn a bit more pale grey. But it's certainly cold enough today to test these out. I'll give you the verdict as the session goes on. I remember they took a little while for the heat to come through. I've tried various hand warmers over the years. I had some Zippo ones that ran on petrol, but I went away from them because my hands ended up smelling of petrol, which isn't good when you're putting bait on the hooks. Great hand warmers, but not for fishing. In my view, anyway. Right, is that a light? Looks pretty good. Maybe I'll just give that a little bit more. That's better. Right. So I'm going to put this in the tin. Oops. And if no warmth comes throughout there in about 15 minutes, I probably didn't light it properly. But hopefully that is going to keep my hands warm enough to fish. Well guys, I've had a few more bites on the left-hand rod. That's the one with the 2-hook loop rig on again. It's only been back out about 5 minutes or so, but it's been pulling round for quite a while. And it just gave another little tap, so I'm going to reel it in and see if we've got a hook up this time. No sign of any life on the bar rig though, but I didn't put that out as far. Just had a little gentle first chuck with it. I know it's a distance rig, but you know, I like to get warmed up. Have we got a fish on this time? Hard to tell if I'm honest. It's getting close. I feel like I'm playing chicken with the tide. It's got 30 minutes to go. Right, missed it again. But what of our bait? Well, the lug has been totally stripped on that. And no sign of anything on the razorfish. So I'll get this rig swapped over. I've got the 3-hook loop rig ready to go. It's also 18-inch snoods. That's got size 2 super matches on it. And because the lug had a little nibble on the last chuck, I've loaded all 3 hooks on this with those frozen lug. All with a bit of bait elastic on, help hold them in place. So it's basically the same as the other rig, except I've got 3 hooks instead of 2, and size 2 hooks. But there we go, loaded up, ready to go out to the sea for the Plaice's tea. Oh, I say that too often. I'll get that other rig rebaited in a minute. Get the bar rig back in, it's been sitting there a while. Oh, I need to put the thummy on. Here we are, back out it goes, and now we wait. Will it be 3rd time lucky on that rod? Well, I've just put that rod down in the rod rest. I hadn't even got back to my box and we've already got a bite on the left-hand rodlet. There's something munching into those baits. I'm going to leave you on the rod. You can watch for my bites. I'm going to get this one baited up so that when I reel that in, there we go, look, it's pulling away. When I reel that in, we've got one ready to go back out. There it goes. There's a shoal of something out there. Hopefully we'll find out what soon. Tapping away, look. So I'm just rebaiting my 2-hook loop rig. And I'm going to put, these lug are a little bit small, and because that got completely demolished, the one I've just reeled in, I'm going to put 2 lug on the top hook that had the lug on before, that's been eaten, and the razorfish is going to stay on the hook, but it's biting away, and I'm just going to put a lug on the end so we've got a cocktail going on that. Look at that, bite, bite, bite. Right, nearly done with the rebaiting. So the bar rig I definitely didn't put out as far, so the fact I'm getting bites on this 2-hook loop rig, it's either the distance that's making the difference, or the rig, or the fact it's a grip lead. Too many variables to know for sure, but my guess would be the distance. And I'm saying that just because it is, if it is Plaice, the early season ones do tend to be further out. Right, rebaited that. I just need to wipe my hands. I must have a rag somewhere in my box. There we are. So, look at that. So there's 2 lug on there, and that looks like a decent sized bait. And the bottom hook, that bit of razorfish with a worm on the end. So get all this clipped up. This was going to go out on the bar rig rod, but given I've been getting those tap tap taps, we're going to reel the left hand one in again, because it's either going to be stripped or have a fish on the end. Oh, get that in there. Right, so that's the 2 hook loop rig ready to go. Let's see if we've got a fish. So I'm going to lift into this, see if there's anything on here. Oh yeah, there's weight on here this time. I must have like cast that onto the fish's nose. It's definitely on it. Oh, it's just gone a bit light. Don't like it when it does that. Yeah, there's something on there all right. It's banging. It knows it's getting near the edge. Have we got it? Have we got it? Yes, we have it. It's not the target species. It's a sad sight indeed. Whiting. It's not what I came for, but it beats a blank. And hey, it's a gorgeous sunny day and we caught a fish. Not all bad. Well, I just pulled in the bar rig and you've guessed it, another whiting. Look at that. A fine specimen of a Sussex whiting. Oh, delightful. I'll get this chap unhooked to get him checked back. Well, I've got a bite on my right hand rod. You can't see that, but I'm going to pick it up and reel it in. It's got the 2 hook loop rig on it. And I've got a feeling we might know what is on the end. I'm still hopeful there might be a Plaice out there. The sea's actually not as calm as I was expecting it to be today. There's a few white horses appearing. The wind has definitely got more west in it than I thought, and this has definitely got some weight on the end. I don't know if that's in shot, but maybe you can see the rod tip bending a bit there. There's definitely something on this. I've got my loop rig baited up, ready to go back out. Maybe it's a double shot, eh? Because it's definitely heavier than the first two. That had been tapping away for quite a while. Let's try and get out that wind a bit. Been tapping away for quite a while before I decided to reel it in. I did put this one out further. What have we got? Well, it is a double shot. We have a new species. We have yet another whiting. Ooh. And we also have a slug. Rockling. There we go. It's actually not too bad a size one. So I'm going to get these guys in a bucket, get them to recover a little bit, unhook them, and we get that bar rig chucked out. See you in a minute. So there we go, bar rig. That is loaded with a lug, tipping off. Well, tipping off, there's more lug than raisin, but there's a raisin at the top there. We're going to get this one out. Let's see if we can pick up a Plaice. I want my Plaice. I've got to fish through these tings. That wind has definitely gone a lot more west, and it's picked up a lot from when I arrived. Don't want to get wet feet. Baits are back out. Let's see if that plain lead can make the difference, eh? Don't seem to have had any bites on the other one, but that might just be because I'm sitting on it. Let's see. Anyway, that's going to stay up for a little while longer. So there we go. Beautiful little Rockling I'll get this guy back. I've already chucked the whiting back. This guy's been chilling in the bucket, recovering. So there we go. Well, one thing we definitely have at the moment is tide. This is the bar rig. I deliberately cast it left and it's now all the way down to the right here. It's had a few little taps on it. So let's see if we picked anything up. I wonder what we got. To be fair, it's a bigger one. Whoop. Oops, off the hook. There you go, unhooked itself. Just bear with me. This one looks pretty healthy. It's very lively. Let's chuck him straight back. Look at that teeth in there. It's a fat one. There. Off he goes. Right. We'll get another rig sent out. There's still hope of a place. We've got to keep trying or we won't get one. So here we have 2-hook loop rig, all clipped up, ready to go out. Oh, my camera nearly went in the sea then. Let's see how far we can launch this one. Take a click off the mags. All I'm going to do is catch whiting though, eh? There we are. The baits are out. I wonder if we can catch a pout. Oh dear, dear, my rhymes are getting worse. Anyway, on that note, I'll turn the camera off. Well, it is time for a bit of an update. It's lunchtime. High tide was about an hour ago, but even though it hasn't really dropped off, and every so often there's a really big surge that comes up further than it was coming at high tide. I think it's definitely chopping up out there. There's a bit more of a swell. I mean, the sea still looks pretty flat, but there's a bit of a dump coming down that's just pushing those, pushing the waves up towards the shelter. I got my lunch, cheese and onion sandwich, nice cup of tea, and I thought I'd give you an update on the hand warmer. So as I expected, it took me a little while to get it alight. Should I have read the instructions? Yes, I probably should have. So that the instructions said get it burned down a centimetre before you shut the lid. I wasn't doing that. In the end, what I did was I stuck the end in my jet boil and got it really nice and hot and toasty. Left the case open for a bit, let it burn, made sure it was properly alight, and now that is almost too warm. It's lovely. So a bit of persistence, got it alight, it's doing well. Time for a bite to eat. I've just seen I've got another bite on my bar rig. You can't see the rod tips, but I can. But I'm going to have a little bit of tea, one bite of my sandwich, and then we'll get that reeled in. I've caught quite a lot of whiting now, as you can probably guess. You've seen a few on camera. I'm not going to show you 100 whiting on camera. Not that I'm saying I've caught 100. I've just caught a few, more than I'd like, and still not that place. But the bigger whiting have been coming on lug and razor cocktails. The smaller ones I picked up on the straight lug. So that's how it's gone. The Rockling I had, that was just on lug. But time for some caffeine. I'm talking quite quick. I did actually have an espresso before I set off from home. Maybe it hasn't worn off yet. It should have, because that was hours ago. But hey, time for a bite of food. Time for a sip of tea. See you in a bit. Well, I started reeling this one in a while ago. It's got a bit of weight on it, so I thought I'd just turn the camera on. Might just be a double shot of whiting, but you never know. It might be something more interesting. Oh, might be that I've got my other line. Yeah, got my other line. False alarm. That's going to be a nice little tangled mess, isn't it? Well, what can I say? I've nearly run out of bait. Well, I haven't used the sand eels, but I've pretty much finished the razors and the lug that I brought with me. I've caught so many whiting. Yeah, every chuck, whiting, whiting, whiting. I've only just put this rod down on the left here, and already I've had a little knock on it within seconds. Before I've even sat back down in my box, it's going ch-ch-ch-ch. So what am I going to do? I'm going to finish my cup of tea that's been sitting warm in this cup for a very long time. I do love my Yeti cup. I've got one rig baited up, ready to go with some bait on it, baited up, ready to go with some bait on it. You know what I mean. The other one's not cast out at the moment because there's just too many whiting. So this chuck that's out there, followed by the other one I've got baited up, that's going to be my last 2 chucks. We'll see if we get anything. So still a bit of video left to come. But if you're enjoying this one or you're enjoying my channel, please consider liking and subscribing. Helps promote my channel, does me some favours, and that is still hot. The hand warmer is still hot. But yeah, please consider liking and subscribing. Great little thing. I think I'll bring this again in the winter. I'll carry on with my cup of tea. Still got 2 chucks to see if we can get that Plaice. Well, let's reel this one in. It's been banging away for a few minutes. Let's see if the whiting's on there. I did whack this one out for a bloody long way as well. Long way to reel it back in, that's the trouble. Maybe the last cast I'll just plop it. See if the whiting are about 50 yards as well as 100. Oh, loop in the line. It's no good. That's it, it's better. Oh, we missed it. Oh my word. Let's see what the bait's like. Well, the bait looks pretty intact, even though it was banging away. So I think, because I've only got 1 rig baited up left ready to go, I'm going to chuck this one out again. Let's just tidy that up. Yeah, I tried putting the razor fish on the bottom this time, and it's definitely stopped the whiting from stripping that hook clean. So let's get it reclipped and just sent back out. Hadn't been out very long anyway. So there's still going to be plenty of scent in that. Oh, got a little knot in there. Untie that. If it had been out there like half an hour, then I wouldn't be sending it straight back out. But it's less than 5 minutes. And it's got plenty of bait left. There we go. That is good to go back out. It looks a little bit messy. In fact, I'll just tidy that a tiny bit and break that loose bit off. There we go. That looks better. That is now ready to go back out. Well, let's get these baits sent out. Because it's this bar rig, I'm actually going to whack this one. I'll save the plop for the 2-hook loop to get my drop length right. That's better. Dare I take a click off the mags? I've already taken quite a few off today. Go on, let's do another one. Let's live it up. A bit dangerous. Right. It's a bit easier to cast without my coat on. There we go. All sent out. Will it be another whiting? Who knows? Well, the 2-hook loop rig, that's gone back out, so it's on the last chuck. Just had yet another whiting. But in the meantime, I'm going to do some practice casting. Just a couple of chucks. I like to do this every so often, especially if my session's been a bit shorter than I might have had in mind, which it has today because the whiting have eaten all my bait. So let's just see how far we can get it. So this is just the lead on the end. Check my drop length. I'm going to take yet another click off. The mags are now set to 2. Let's see how this goes. Lifted. There we are. That went all right. I couldn't see where it went because the sun is straight in my face here now. Shifted a little bit of line. Definitely not nothing like my best cast in the world, but you know. Not too bad really. Every so often I do like to get a bit of practice in with my casting, thinking about my drop length, how changing it might affect my distance, how where I'm putting the lead might affect my distance, how I'm standing, remembering to hit it at the right point and using my left hand more. I always forget a little bit to pull with my left hand, but it's only by putting in a bit of practice every now and again that I'm going to get any better, or even keep as good as I am at the moment. I'm not getting any younger. Whew. Do a couple more of those and then that other rod's probably ready to come in. This hand warmer, I actually took it out of my salopettes. It was getting too hot. It's now sitting on my box, out of the way. But it has been pretty warm sitting in the sun today. It's been lovely. If the sun hadn't been out, I'd have definitely needed that hand warmer today, because the wind is pretty chilly. Alright, there's the leader. Right, check the drop length a bit more carefully this time. That's way too long. With a couple of turns. So I've now got it too short, but I use the markings on the blank to see where I'm going to line it up. I'm going to go for the between the words, where you can see there, just at the top of the tip tornado marking. This is a little bit longer than I had it last time, maybe a couple of inches. So let's attempt another cast. It did lift, so I'm not going to loosen the mags off anymore. Just play a bit of risque with them being where they are. So I'm putting that lead quite a long way round compared to last time. So a little bit of overrun there at the end, but that was definitely better. A little bit more, one more loop to come out. That's it. Wind a little bit of that back in, just for what I stripped out. Don't know if you'll be able to tell that, but looking at how much line is left on the spool, that definitely went further than the first one. I won't bore you watching me reel the whole thing in. I'll cut a bit out and then you'll see me again when I've got the leader back. See you in a minute. That'll be seconds for you. So there we go, all back in. And just so you can see how much line there is on the reel. There we go. It's not completely full, but I have no idea how far that went. But anyway, we're not over grass, I can't measure it. One more, then I'm going to reel the other, well, probably whiting in. Let's hit this, get it out. There we go. Woo! Hey! It's quite fun doing a bit of casting practice on a nice day like this. I'll get this back in, then we'll check that rig for a whiting. Well, we're going to get this last one reeled in, see if we've got anything on the end. If I haven't, then it'll be the first chuck for a very long time that's been fishless, except for one, I think, where I reeled in that bar rig that didn't have a fish on the end. We're well into the ebb now, but yeah, this feels fishy. It certainly feels fishy. This was the one I plopped out about 40-50 yards. It's not very far out. But this is going to be the end of the video once we got this in. So if you have enjoyed it, please consider clicking the like button. Please consider subscribing, it's free. Have we got the target species? Let's see, there's something coming up here. Let's walk down and get it. Well, lo and behold, we've ended as we started, with one of those tings. See you next time, guys.